Hi, I'm Matt Belgrove, pharmacist and founder of National Custom Compounding here on the Gold Coast. Thanks for joining me. Today, we're diving into something that's been generating a lot of interest in both the medical and patient community, low-dose Naltrexone, or LDN for short. Whether you've been prescribed LDN, heard about it through a support group, or are just curious about what it might offer, this video is here to help you understand the science, the journey, and the potential behind this fascinating therapy. What is naltrexone? And what is low-dose naltrexone? Naltrexone was originally developed in the 1980s to help people dealing with opioid or alcohol dependence. It blocks opioid receptors in the brain, helping to reduce cravings. In that context, it's prescribed in doses of 50 milligrams and above. But something interesting started to emerge in the late 90s and early 2000s. Researchers began looking at much smaller doses between 0.5 milligrams and 4.5 milligrams and noticed a different effect entirely. At low doses, naltrexone appears to modulate the immune system rather than block it. It may help reduce inflammation, regulate pain, and support certain neurological and autoimmune functions. This shift in focus is what gave rise to what we now call low-dose naltrexone LDN. Why is LDN gaining interest now? While LDN has been prescribed off-label for many years, it's only more recently that universities and research institutes are starting to investigate it more seriously. Here on the Gold Coast, Griffith University is currently involved in clinical studies exploring LDN's role in managing chronic conditions. These include fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, Crohn's disease, and other inflammatory or immune-related disorders. We're now seeing LDN in a new light, not as a treatment for addiction, but as a gentle and potentially effective option for patients dealing with long-term inflammation, pain, and immune dysregulation. How does LDN work in the body? Let's break it down a little. At low doses, naltrexone briefly blocks opioid receptors for a few hours overnight. This temporary blockade is thought to trigger a rebound effect, stimulating the body to increase production of its own natural opioids and endorphins. Endorphins are powerful little molecules. They influence how we feel pain, how we heal, how we sleep, and even how our immune system behaves. Some researchers believe that boosting endorphins helps retune the immune system, reducing inappropriate inflammation and calming overactive immune responses, which is relevant in conditions like fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, rheumatoid arthritis, irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, long COVID. What is the patient experience with LDN? Here at National Custom Compounding, we've dispensed LDN to thousands of patients across Australia. And while every experience is unique, we've noticed a few common themes. Most patients start at a very low dose, often 0.5 milligrams or 1 milligrams, and titrate slowly upwards. It's usually taken in the evening to align with its endorphin-releasing effects overnight. Side effects tend to be mild, with vivid dreams or slight insomnia early on being the most reported. These typically pass in a few days. Positive effects, when they occur, tend to appear gradually, often after 4 to 8 weeks. It's important to remember, LDN is not a quick fix, but for many, it becomes a gentle and long-term tool in their care plan. Why is LDN compounded and not available as a standard medication? That's a great question. The approved form of naltrexone comes in 50 milligrams tablets, far too high for LDN purposes. That's where compounding pharmacies like NCC come in. We prepare LDN in custom strengths, typically between 0.5 mg and 4.5 mg, using capsules or liquid, depending on what your practitioner has prescribed. And because LDN is considered an off-label therapy in Australia, it requires a prescription from a doctor or specialist who understands its potential benefits and limitations. What's next for LDN in Australia? We're excited about the future. As more universities, like Griffith University right here on the Gold Coast, conduct trials, we're hopeful that we'll better understand who LDN helps most, what conditions respond best, and how to personalise it further for each patient. At NCC, we're also collaborating with practitioners to ensure we provide high-quality compounded LDN with accurate dosing and pharmaceutical-grade ingredients, because patient safety is always our priority. In summary, low-dose naltrexone is still something of a frontier therapy. Not quite mainstream, but no longer fringe. And for many Australians, it's quietly improving quality of life. If you're currently using LDN or thinking about it, I encourage you to work closely with your practitioner, be patient with the process, and feel free to reach out to our team if you have any questions. Thank you for taking the time to learn with me today. And if you'd like to know more, explore the LDN resources and information available right here on our NCC Health website. Take care, and we'll see you soon.